Here we go. What is good, fellas? Jay, Airborne Cheeseburger. Always happy to see you guys. Always. You know how it is. Oh my God, guys. What a day. I'm exhausted. Been grinding for you guys, getting all this content out. Anthony, the same. What is good, Jason Garrett? You're about to get a new shiny new toy. You know how it is. Kenny Golladay, man.
Far ahead of yourself, Alex.
We believe. Avengers assemble. I kind of feel like that right now. I kind of feel like the Avengers are assembling for the Giants right now, especially if they get Kenny Golladay. This is going to be wild because I don't really think we understand the magnitude of getting a wide receiver one and what it does for a guy like Saquon Barkley. Really, what's good, CJ? How you doing? I'm not trying to get too excited, Smutty.
1v1.
I'm not trying to get too excited. 1v1. You'll get smoked by Jason Garrett. Yo. He'll hit you with the old man the old man moves.
It's clearly cap.
Oh man. All I've been doing is just thinking all day about having Kenny, Saquon, and Jalen Waddle on our offense. Every second, perfect series. How many times do you guys actually think that you refreshed Twitter today? Probably like 200 times every like couple seconds. 200 times? Don't forget Graham Gano. Plaxico was taller, but I'm under the impression that Kenny might not shoot himself. Kenny might not shoot himself in the leg at a club. But you never know. 417. That's pretty fair. 1 comma many zeros. Not sure what number that is. Literally just like waiting for Ian Rappaport or F5ing Reddit. So I believe that the meeting is tomorrow between the Giants and Kenny Golladay. It's going to be kind of crazy too. You know, obviously there's something wrong though. Like if they want to, bring Kenny Golladay in to, test him out, get that physical ready. They have to want some more information maybe on his injury, maybe on that hip injury he had last year that held him to 5 games. I think the meeting will go fine. He didn't tear his ACL, he didn't tear his Achilles. I think the injury is healed. I think he'll be fine. It'll be okay. That is. And look, Saquon wants Kenny Golladay to come to the Giants. Okay, he's retweeted, liked everything to do with Kenny Golladay. Saquon wants this guy there. And if Saquon wants something, Dave Gettleman is listening a little bit at least. That's kind of my perspective on the matter. I think he's going to visit with them tomorrow. I think, Jordan did kind of say something kind of funny. He was like, don't read into everything you're seeing. And then everything that people are reading came true. So there's that.
Yeah.
But
of course. Not surprised.
Of course.
Do you see Zach Rosenblatt? Zach Rosenblatt tweeted, there are Giants players that, quote, badly want them to sign Kenny Golladay. One of them said, quote, we need him. There's multiple Giants players that he's spoken to that are desperate for Kenny Golladay, just like we are. So that does bode well for us. I mean, obviously management is aware of what the players on the team want. And, if you're talking about keeping the locker room high, the locker room culture high, you want to get guys that they want to play with, right? So if they want to play with Kenny Golladay, because potentially one of those players that says, we really need him, I really want him, could be Daniel Jones. Maybe he tells Joe Judge, I really want to play with Kenny Golladay. Then you kind of listen. You kind of say, okay, I'm going to pay the guy then. So that's always possible. I really hope that's the case. I really want to see Golladay get signed by us. He clearly wants to be here. And I want players that want to be here.
That's the thing. People are like, oh, like Corvette, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to go down that road.
Can you do the Corvette though?
No, I can't do the Corvette. I don't know any TikTok dances.
But can you learn it and then do it for us?
Yes. If we sign Kenny Golladay, I will learn the Corvette and do it for you guys. That's it. That is what
Airborne. Did you clip that?
You can clip that, Airborne. I will say it again for you in slow motion. I will do the Corvette if we sign Kenny Golladay.
I can't wait for that.
Look. If I just can't get that picture out of my head of seeing Jalen Waddle. I do need to laugh too. I think I'd laugh more than you. Jalen Waddle, Kenny Golladay, John Ross, Saquon. Like, throw in Evan Engram. I know nobody wants to throw Evan Engram into the mix, but throw his ass into the mix too. The guy can't do any worse than he did last year, right? If we have more weapons, you take targets away from him, and we're okay. We're doing all right. So I think, just throw Evan Engram into the mix too. We have a sick. I mean, how can you justify us not having a top at least 15 offense with all those guys? Given, Daniel Jones actually can stand back there with more than 2 seconds of time. That's my biggest concern. The offensive line, Anthony. What do you guys think about the offensive line? Do you think that they're going to sign a guy, maybe trade for somebody, or they'll look at the second round? I think Wyatt Davis, Anthony, you called him out a couple of weeks ago. Wyatt Davis in the second round would be a home run for us to get him at right guard. Home run.
Here's what I'll say. I think that if the Giants do land Kenny Golladay, the chances of them going with a Slater or Darisaw at number 11 increases exponentially. I think that it really shows that they're going to want to go offensive line in the first round to solidify that line. They need some help on there, Of course, the whole thing with signing Kenny Golladay, it just opens up an endless cornucopia of possibilities with what we can do with the 11th pick. We're not forced to go with an offensive playmaker, but we still could go with an offensive playmaker. You could get Golladay, pair him with a Kyle Pitts potentially, or a Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith, and you can just build a disgusting offense, a really good offense. Or you can look to the defensive side of the ball at 11. It opens up a lot of possibilities once you get Kenny Golladay. You can do whatever you want with that pick, and you're not pigeonholed into addressing one position of need. You can now finally go best player available. So that's why I'm all for signing Kenny Golladay, so that we can go best player available in the draft in April.
Yeah, I mean, I see people talking Micah Parsons. I'm totally for that. Micah Parsons is an absolute tank. I mean, if you get Micah Parsons, your defense, I know the history, the allegations and stuff. Aside from that guy is a monster player. He is someone you build a defense around. If you put him into a defense that's already top 10, holy crap. You don't even understand how good the Giants defense could actually be with a guy like Micah Parsons. And then you can sign a back end, like a veteran cornerback in a couple of weeks. When the market thins out, cornerbacks are going nowhere. They're not going off the board right now. There's a ton of them available. They're going to be waiting there to get scooped up. The Giants can get one for cheap. You can, now you have Kenny Golladay. You have your CB2. You got Micah Parsons at linebacker, who pretty much uses pass rush moves at an elite level to shed blocks. It would be stupid. And in the second round, you can get Wyatt Davis, plug your right guard, and that's an offseason I'd be freaking happy with. You're talking Kenny Golladay, Micah Parsons, Wyatt Davis. You've assigned Leonard Williams. You got John Ross. I mean, that's 5 players right there that overhaul your team. I mean, maybe the locker room's a little crazy. There's some crazy stuff going on with Micah Parsons in there. It's okay if you're – no, I'm kidding. That's not okay. But it is what it is.
What I have to say about Micah Parsons is I think he's phenomenal, and I don't think that would be an issue going into the league because he's entering a new locker room where he doesn't get that kind of power control, or there's not that kind of culture built in by the coaches. So I don't think that would actually be a problem, a hazing incident. I don't think it would be an issue with Micah Parsons. But I will say, the things he did or what he's accused of doing are very concerning and very gross, and I don't think the Giants are going to look at that and be okay with drafting him. It's just not their MO. It's not really the type of players that they like to target. So I think that you can honestly say that Micah Parsons wouldn't be the pick at 11. I do think he's going to be on the board at 11. But honestly, if the Giants want to go linebacker and they don't want to go Micah Parsons, I like JOK. I like Joker out of Notre Dame. He's really solid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of actually good linebackers in this class. And if you look into the third round, excuse me, I just had dinner. If you look into the third round, Jabril Cox out of LSU is a really solid pass coverage linebacker. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. Yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, Rafi is saying get Parsons and then Eichenberg from Notre Dame. Really, really good offensive lineman there. So, he's another guy I'll be looking at. The Giants, I mean, look, Dallas is going to get Parsons. They'll probably sign a crackhead off the street too, just to go with it. They're always signing all the drug addicts and stuff like that. So it's that's their MO.
He's insane right now, bro.
Just exhausted and want to talk a little smack about Dallas because it's always a little fun. But
screw Dallas, bro.
Yeah, I mean, screw Dallas. I can't.
Yeah, actually, I think the comment that just came in from video games is right. Alex, you said that you saw Galladay's meeting tomorrow. I think that's not. I didn't see that anywhere. I saw that they're waiting to get the medicals done, and then he's going to come in. He's actually not doing medicals in person. They're waiting to get the medicals, which should take a day or two, and then he's going to meet with them after that. And I think that's only if the medicals come back well. If they're positively graded. So I don't know. That's. I don't think he's meeting with them tomorrow, but he's definitely meeting with them by the end of the week. Probably, or by the end of the weekend. So that's exciting. Hopefully we can get this done by Sunday.
Yeah,
Lord Rex says he thinks Jordan Randon said it's on Thursday.
I mean, I had someone tell me.
So then maybe it is tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I had someone tell me off of Twitter that was that they were going to meet tomorrow. I don't see why they wouldn't do the physicals at the Giants. That way they can get their hands on him and not get it from a third party where they might not be able to trust it. So we'll see. I think that maybe they want to work them out. They want to do something there.
I think that's something that we should mention because, that's really good that you did mention that about the third party thing, because someone did tweet the Giants should turn away and run away, because anytime that a player wants to do medicals from a third party, it's never a good sign. So someone did tweet that. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Chad Forbes, which is I don't really like Chad Forbes. So I don't really take
I wouldn't
his word
look.
on.
I'm not signing
that's
a
what
player.
He said.
I'm not signing a player to a multi-year deal if they're not willing to do a physical in person. And look, if he wants to come to New York,
with him. I actually don't agree. I don't even care, man.
I care. I don't. I'm not. Look, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars, potentially guaranteed money. That if he does not, if that stuff is hiding something, if he goes to some place that's willing to do that, which I guarantee you there are places that will, that's a problem. Because if you're stuck with a contract with guaranteed money and you're stuck with a contract that you can't get out of and you're screwed, your cap is screwed, it is going to kill you. It is going to hurt the Giants more than it will help them. And we will be looking back at this like, crap, that's not good. I think only way I'm signing that guy is if he comes into their facilities, takes a physical, and they're like, okay, we will sign you right now if you pass your physical. That's what a majority of players do. Like they have to pass physicals with the team before they are signed or they are drafted, like they do all those things. Even the teams go and they work out all these players. It's not a crazy thing. I would be like, Golladay, you're coming here. You missed 90% of the season last year. We're not letting you go to some random third party, doctor, like physician whose like specialty is goats or something. And he's going to like check on your leg and that's it. We're going to write you a full bill of health and send you to the Giants to go sign a 3-year, $45 million deal. I'm doing my due diligence. But that's another good point, Giants fan 26. With COVID protocols, it might take an extra day or two, but I think they've been in contact for a couple of days. I think he's probably been quarantining, preparing for this exactly. I don't think that COVID's probably the biggest deal because he's probably like, I'm going to have to go and see teams. I'm going to quarantine for the next couple of days, make sure I'm getting tested, and then I'm going to go and do my thing. Wednesday today was the start of free agency. So this is when players are actually allowed to go see teams. And I guarantee you, players that were going into today were prepared to already have been, quarantining and ready to go. But, let's talk about Curtis Samuel going to Washington for a second, because I was a big fan of Curtis Samuel. I am absolutely pissed that we have to see him twice per year now. He's a great player, really good gadget player. The one thing I can say is, getting a better secondary, getting that CB2 veteran guy that I think we might be able to get like a Dory Jackson or Malcolm Butler. Let's see what Logan Ryan can do in terms of bringing them here. I think we'll be fine. I think we can handle whatever they throw at us, whether it's Washington and Ryan Fitzmagic or whether it's Dallas and Amari Cooper and, Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. I think we're going to be just fine. What do you think about with all these great receivers in the NFC East now?
I like Curtis Samuel a lot as well, and I thought that he would have been a solid player for the Giants, kind of a different option. It's like, do you want to go for that big body, typical outside receiver? Do you want to go for the Swiss Army knife chess piece, which is what Washington elected to do? They went for that Swiss Army knife with Curtis Samuel. I think that he's a really interesting player in the fact that he's very versatile and you can use him in a lot of ways. And I do think that Washington's going to be able to do that. I think Washington's pretty good at using players to their strengths. We've seen that with Terry McLaurin. So it does suck that Curtis Samuel is going to be playing in Washington. We got to face him twice a year, but he is a really solid player that I wish the Giants were able to get. But hopefully we just get Kenny Golladay anyway, and we don't even have to care about it, right? Maybe we can just fight fire with fire, get our receiver, and totally knock Washington out when we play them next year. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, absolutely. What's good, Brian Stepnowski? Would love a subscription. You know, we are all welcome here, Giants fans. This is where we're coming to unite and really get excited about some of these moves we're making this offseason. I'm super hyped for what the Giants can do if we make the right moves, and I think the Giants are actually taking this. At first, I was really, really scared that we were going to do absolutely nothing. I thought we might lose Leonard Williams. I thought we might lose a bunch of guys. You know, that John Ross signing was phenomenal. You know, it's such a low risk and high reward signing. Dr. Drake Ramore, much appreciated. Watching Friends right now, fantastic show. Highly recommend it. But, you know, what I have to say is, should the Giants trade Evan Engram? That's a question a lot of people keep asking me. I keep putting Evan Engram in my tweet saying, you know, I think that Evan Engram is part of this squad and part of this unit moving forward in terms of the production, what I think they can do. I don't think they should trade Evan Engram. His salary is guaranteed the second the new league year started today. So that full $6 million is guaranteed. Go look what Hunter Henry just got paid on the open market. Go look what Jonnu Smith got paid on the open market. They got overpaid like double, you know? So it's actually crazy. Evan Engram he drops passes, but if you get Golladay, you get Saquon back, and maybe you get a wide receiver in the draft, you're going to take a ton of reps away from him. You're going to take a lot of targets away from Evan Engram. So those drops and that negative impact is going to fade. You know what I mean? It's going to open him up, get him open even more. I think he'll, with a little bit less pressure on him, he'll bounce back and he'll be just fine. We'll be like, okay, he's fine at $6 million. It's okay. I don't think he can fix his hands. This has been an issue for years now, so I don't necessarily think that's something he can solve. But what I will say is, if you take those things away from him, I don't know. You know, I don't. If you take the targets away from him, he'll be fine. You know, they're just reallocated towards their better players. But Brian, I'll answer your question because you are new here, and I will give you some love. Do you think that we will sign a corner linebacker Van Noy? I don't know if we can afford Kyle Van Noy. If we get Kenny Golladay, we're going to be really, really thin on cash. Obviously, next year we have like $52 million currently available in cap space, so we can push a couple contracts. But you know, I think we'll sign a veteran corner. Maybe, I don't know about a pass rusher. I don't know if we have the money to do it. If there's anyone that I would keep an eye on, it's Jordan Jenkins, former Jet. That guy was absolutely destroyed by Jets coaching. But he had 8 sacks 2 years ago. They signed him to a 1-year deal last season, and he underperformed mainly because the Jets were absolute garbage and trash. Like I wouldn't even recycle them trash. So I think Jordan Jenkins, go check him out. We'll do a little film review on him soon, but I think he's a really good option for the Giants. Really appreciate the support, Mark. Is Golladay signing for the New York Giants? Pretty straightforward question. If I were to bet on it, I'd say yes. Cincinnati offered them a 1-year deal, unless it's absolutely insane, super lucrative. Probably not going to be throwing. You know, I'm not gonna mock Kenny Golladay to Cincinnati. But Anthony, what do you think about Cincinnati? Do you think that he might go there? Or do you think the Giants are probably the favorites at this point? I can't hear you.
Mark, thank you so much for the donation. I think that I don't think he ends up with Cincinnati. I think the Giants are the favorites. The report said that Golladay wants to play for the Giants, and that's what he's been pushing for. You know, of course, other teams are going to make him offers, but I don't think he's going to accept one until he meets with the Giants and gets an offer from them first. That's what his mission is. That's what his plan is, to try and get an offer from the Giants. They haven't given him one yet. Now, we all think that they should. They want to see his hip first. They want to ask him about what happened in Detroit and why the departure was so ugly in the eyes of Detroit, right? So they want to get all of that figured out before they make an offer and commit a lot of money to this guy, which I understand. That's totally fine. But I don't think he ends up in Cincinnati because I don't think that he's a player that needs to take a 1-year deal. I think he's a player that can get a multi-year contract from another team. And I don't think a 1-year deal is really that smart for him to do. So I don't think he ends up in Cincinnati. And really, I think there's probably a couple other teams he would choose before Cincinnati. You know, Cincinnati isn't necessarily the most stable place to play, isn't necessarily the best place. You know, their head coach is kind of going onto the hot seat. So does he really want to go there? A lot of uncertainty. I think he'd rather go to a team like the Giants where the head coach is there. He's in place. A lot of certainty behind him. We all are very confident in Joe Judge. That team is fully bought into Joe Judge. I think that's where he would rather be. Joe Judge is also got history as a wide receivers coach. I'm sure that's appealing to him as well. And then, looking towards the quarterback position, of course, yeah, if you want to compare Cincinnati's quarterback, Joe Burrow, he'd probably prefer to play for Joe Burrow. But Daniel Jones is a guy that has a lot of potential, and the Giants have fully bought into him. And Golladay would know that they're doing this to get Daniel Jones, get the best out of him, and get him to break out in his third season. So I think it makes a lot of sense for Golladay to end up in New York. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Giants to actually make that offer and sign him. We'll see how it goes. If I had to bet on it, I'd probably say he winds up as a New York Giant, but I really don't want to get my hopes up because I hate doing that because then they always get crushed, right? But don't want to get my hopes up, but if I had to bet on it, I think he winds up a Giant.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I am too with this, because ultimately I don't think he's going to the Bengals. I don't think he wants a one-year deal. We know he wants the Giants. Literally, Jordan Raunan just tweeted like an hour ago. He's always wanted to go to New York. He's been pushing to go to New York. I think he's good friends with Saquon because Saquon's been really vocal about it, retweeting and liking a lot of posts. So I think that's kind of the move. I think the Giants probably have this on lock unless they don't want to pay, unless Dave Gettleman throws an absolute wrench into everything and then we riot, or another team swoops in with just a ridiculous contract. But I think they already would have done that if it were the case. I think they would have came at him and got him, secured him if they really wanted him. The only other team I see entering the mix is there's really two teams, either Jacksonville or the Dolphins. I don't think the Dolphins want him because apparently there was some rumors that, connected to Detroit, connected to the Patriots, that they don't like Kenny Golladay. I think that's absolute BS. Personally, considering we just saw that the Giants are now in on him. And if he's meeting with the Giants, which I'm like 99% sure he is meeting with them tomorrow, if not Friday, he is not going to leave without a contract if that physical goes well. If that physical goes well, they will not let him leave because, especially because Cincinnati just offered him a one-year deal. If you offer him 3 years, the Giants love these 3-year deals. Leonard Williams got one. Blake Martinez got one. James Bradbury got one. 3-year deals are absolute, like, what they want to do right now. And we have a ton of cap space next year. We can push the money a little bit. That's okay. We can do that. And the Giants still need money for their draft picks, right? We haven't actually signed anyone really big yet. We have about $14-15 million in available cap space right now. If they go out and sign Kenny Golladay, lower his cap hit for year one, maybe to $7 million, you still have $7 million. That's enough money to carry into the draft. You could always restructure James Bradbury for him. James Bradbury has the number one cap hit right now on the Giants this upcoming season. That's $17 million. I would be totally fine extending him an extra year and pushing it a little bit down the road, because the cap hit, the TV deal, this is the big thing. The TV deal that's coming is massive. When we're talking, it's going to skyrocket the cap in the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to absolutely skyrocket the cap. So with this TV deal on the way, the Giants can look and say, okay, if we sign a guy to a 3-year deal right now, we can push that money a little bit down the line. It's okay to do that right now, especially when your quarterback is on a rookie deal. Look what Stephon Diggs did for Josh Allen last year. That's a huge example of what the Giants need to do for Daniel Jones right now, and why I think Kenny Golladay is like 95% coming to New York, because the Giants have to look at this realistically and say, if they go into year 4 with Daniel Jones, knowing that he hasn't taken a big developmental leap forward, they haven't given him the weapons to do so, they only have 2 years left on his rookie deal, they're going to be in really bad shape, because you need to get your quarterback in the setting now to take a step forward. I think that's big. So that's kind of how I see it. Anthony, do you think that they need to really give him that bolstering now on offense with Kenny Golladay and really give him some weapons now? Also, thank you to Will for the $2 donation. Really, really nice of you. I could totally see us going defense if we got Golladay.
Yeah, shout out, Will. Appreciate the donation. I think that it would be huge for Daniel Jones to get that number 1 wide receiver threat. I think when you look at what Josh Allen did with Stephon Diggs, he really broke out. He needed a guy that he could rely on, that he could throw the ball to in clutch moments where he really needed a guy to take over and dominate a game in the passing attack. I think Kenny Golladay could be that player for the Giants. I think Kenny Golladay could break out playing for the Giants, and in turn, Daniel Jones can break out playing for the Giants. In terms of Will's question, can I see us drafting defense if we get Golladay? Absolutely. I think that everything is on the table if we draft or if we sign Kenny Golladay. With the number 11 pick, we're not pigeonholed into signing or drafting a wide receiver. We can really just go best player available, whether that's an offensive lineman, whether that's a wide receiver, whether that's a tight end, defensive back, defensive lineman, edge rusher, anything. You can really do whatever you want with that 11th overall pick. if we sign Kenny Golladay, which is why I think it should be a top priority for the Giants to sign Kenny Golladay, give them that flexibility going into next month, going into the draft. And I do think that, like Tim just mentioned in the comments, Kenny Golladay signing for Daniel Jones could be a lot like Eli, Plaxico Burress for Eli, right? It could be like I just made the comparison, Stephon Diggs for Josh Allen. It could be that, but I think it's closer to home when we say it was Plaxico for Eli. Eli broke out once he got Plaxico. He was a significantly better quarterback once he had Plaxico Burress on his team. He needed that big body outside receiving threat. They had Amani Toomer beforehand. That's not really what that was. They needed Plaxico, really large guy that can go up there, make those 50-50 grabs, but also get vertical. And Kenny Golladay can do that. Kenny Golladay goes vertical. Kenny Golladay is a really solid player, really solid outside receiving threat. And I think that you could see Daniel Jones develop and take that next step with a large body receiver in the lineup like that. I think it could really help propel him. When you think back to when Eli got Plaxico, they ended up winning the Super Bowl together, right? Plaxico, when he was on that team and then left that team, right, when he got injured, let's just say he had an off the field injury. When that happened, that offense fell apart. It was completely terrible without him, and they ended up just losing pretty much every game from then on out. I think they won one more game for the rest of the season after Plaxico went down for the year. So that was really terrible, but it really showed how important that number one receiver was for Eli Manning. And I think that we'll see a similar effect once Daniel Jones gets his number one wide receiver. We'll see a similar effect if that number one wide receiver were to miss a game or to leave. We would see it. We would say, damn, Daniel Jones really needs a number one wide receiver. It's been pretty evident throughout his first 2 seasons already that he's been desperately needing that number one receiving threat. So to me, that should be the number one priority. Sign Kenny Golladay. Give yourself plenty of options in the draft. I really hope it happens, and it sure sounds like it just might.
Exactly. And, that really is where the Giants can go in the draft when it comes to, like, best player available. We know the Giants need a wide receiver right now, but if you get Kenny Golladay, you can look at the draft and say, okay, we get Caleb Farley. Okay, we get I don't know, whoever it might be, Slater for right tackle. You can just utilize Peart and Nate Solder as your swing guys and really just hope that nobody gets injured or anything like that. But the Giants, it really opens the door up for so many things. If Kenny passes physical, Lil Sag, love the name, he will probably end up signing with the Giants. Now, the Giants did just sign Ifeadi, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Ifeadi Odenigbo. And Odenigbo had 3.5 sacks last year. Interesting signing here because he's a defensive end, a 6'3", 258-pound defensive end. 3.5 sacks, but he had 15 quarterback hits, which is super interesting. Played in 65% of defensive snaps, 7% of special team snaps. This is a player with some good upside, and he's probably super, super cheap on a 1-year deal. I like this. This is he's 26 years old. This is a good move. So, I keep saying, is it the Jets or the Giants? I know Zach Rosenblatt just said it was the Jets or the Giants, but let's see if it's the Jets. I'm not sure. No, it is the Giants. So 10.5 sacks the last 2 seasons combined. This is a player that I could totally see being good. This is a good guy, just a cheap signing, another low risk, high reward type of guy, defensive end. Hopefully he ends up, competing with Lorenzo Carter, Oshane Ximines. That's something I want to ask you guys though. What do you guys think about Oshane Ximines and Lorenzo Carter coming to the Giants, really featuring for the Giants and being starters next year? Do you feel good about those two as our starters? Do you think that we need to add some more competition? I know Ifeadi will probably just be a competitor in that area. Maybe they'll go out and get a guy like Jordan Jenkins or draft somebody like Joseph Asai. We'll see what they do there. But what do you guys think about Lorenzo Carter and Oshane Ximines coming back and actually making an impact next season? Anthony, what do you think?
I think it's Lorenzo Carter and Oshane Ximines coming back. It's nothing that's going to make me super excited. It's just getting our guys healthy again and getting them back. Lorenzo Carter was playing really good before he got injured. So that excites me. I hope he can come back and continue to build on what he was building last year. Sucked to see him go down with that injury. That was really disappointing. But he was playing really well, and I think that he can come back and play that well again. I think he can definitely bounce back. And so, excited to see him back. Oshane Ximines, I think rotational pass rusher. I never really saw him being more than that, as much as I hope he would become more than that. I think he's going to continue to be a rotational pass rusher. I think the guy we just signed is probably just going to be a rotational pass rusher. The Giants are very much committed to this pass rusher by committee approach. They just like to get a bunch of semi-talented guys on the edge, have them all go around and play on the edge. Like, that's pretty much it. As Airborne just let us know, 1 year, $2.5 million for Ifedi. That's a pretty good deal. I'm happy about that. Nothing that's going to kill our cap space. Again, another rotational edge rusher who's just going to be thrown in there. It's not like somebody he's probably going to start more games for us than he should, or play a lot more.
Started 15. Started 15 last year.
Yeah, but should he? I mean, should he? I'm saying, like, we just have trouble on the edge. So this is a good signing. It's more depth. It's more players that can pass rush. Like, this is good. It's a good signing. But again, I've had this stance for a while. The Giants aren't going to fix their pass rush the way that they want to until they really invest in the edge rusher position. I like this pass rush by committee approach that Patrick Graham's doing because he's very good at it. But realistically, at some point, whether it's now or in the draft or next year, the Giants are going to have to really invest in that edge rusher position and try and get a top dog. They haven't done that yet, and I'm fine with it. They're really not in position to. I wasn't that crazy about this free agency edge class, except for a few names, and pretty much those names are all gone. So we can move on from that. We got a nice depth guy here, a nice lower tier guy. I think that's exciting. I think we can look into those middle rounds of the draft. The Giants love to draft edge rushers there. So I'm sure that they'll draft another one or two because they do pretty much every single year. But yeah, my stance is not going to change on that. The Giants aren't going to completely fix or upgrade their pass rush until they decide to take either a first-round pick or a boatload of money in free agency and sign a top dog off the edge. And I think that's going to happen next offseason.
Yeah, I mean, as for the pass rush, we kind of go like one or two guys in the mid rounds and hope for the best and hope we land a big guy there. But I think, I tried to hook up Ocean Ximenez with Justin, what was it, Osi Minora last season. The OGs probably remember on Twitter. I coincidentally just like kind of linked them up, and I think they practiced together a little bit. So that was kind of interesting. I think that maybe O'Shane just got a bad luck because of the shoulder injury that ended the season prematurely. I think I was expecting a lot more out of him, and I think we would have seen a little bit more production. But think about this. The Giants, they had 40 sacks last year, 40 total sacks. And that was with like nobody at outside linebacker. We signed Jabal Shared, a practice squatter off of Jacksonville's practice squad, and they were garbage. That's the type of players that we were working with. Practice squatters from Jacksonville and 7th round picks like Carter Coughlin. Like, I like Carter Coughlin, but I was not expecting him to get as many reps as he did in his first year as a 7th round pick. That was not what the Giants hoped. If they had Lorenzo Carter and Ocean Ximenez, I guarantee you our defense would have been better. Like, they would have been better hands down with those two guys healthy. And they will be next year because they're available. I think the Giants really do need to just produce more competition at outside linebacker. They need more players. So if Eddie, maybe he makes a transition there, he's a little bit too big for an outside linebacker role. I think he's more of a depth piece behind like Leonard Williams. Maybe BJ Hill takes another step forward. And somebody did mention the fact that Dexter Lawrence could move to nose tackle and take over for Dalvin Tomlinson. Definitely possible. But Dexter Lawrence, in my opinion, and I think Anthony agrees with me on this, is better suited for 3-tech because he has the potential to be an elite 3-tech pass rusher. If you put him at nose tackle, if you put him at 0-tech, 1-tech, it's going to limit how many sacks, how much pressure he puts on the quarterback. And I think the Giants want him to be an elite run stuffer and a really good pass rusher, but you can't rush the passer as efficiently from the 0-tech. You need to really be in the 3 and 5-tech, which is what they did with him last season, and it worked out. But with that being said, they do like to rotate. Anthony, what are you thinking?
Well, I want to speak on that. When you're playing that 0-tech position, you're automatically double teamed. You're playing against the center and the guard every single time. Like, that's literally your double teamed every single play. When you're at the 3-tech to 5-tech, you get a lot more one-on-one opportunities where you're just with the guard and then the edge rusher takes the tackle. Or if you're on that 5-tech, you're just on the tackle. So that's why Dexter Lawrence is more suited there, because he is such a pure pass rusher from the interior that you want him in as many one-on-one situations as possible. Now, of course, if you look at the stats, he was double teamed a lot last year. Teams were shifting his way. They were making sure that even though he's playing the 3-tech and he should technically have some one-on-one opportunities, don't give them to him. They don't want him to have any one-on-ones. And that was big on the other side, the other 3-tech position. Leonard Williams was seeing a lot more single teams. He wasn't getting doubled as much because they were doubling Dexter over at the 3-tech, sliding their protection that way, opening up one-on-ones for Leonard Williams. So I think that's really important that the Giants keep him at 3-tech and just get a new, really solid, push the pocket, run stuffing 0-tech that doesn't need to get sacks, just needs to get double teams. And he will if he's any good, because it's literally lining up in front of the center with 2 guards next to him. You have no edge. You have no way around. You just have to go straight through multiple people. So that's why a zero tech position was really well played by Dalvin Tomlinson. He is going to be a big loss to this team, but that is a pretty replaceable position. The Giants can get a solid zero tech, and I think that would work out really well. But that's why I just think they should keep Dexter Lawrence at the defensive end /3 tech position on the other side. I don't want to see him lining up over the center personally.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of how I feel about it too. And a couple of people mentioning Washington with their playmakers. They have Terry McLaurin, and now they have Curtis Samuel, and they do have Antonio Gibson, who's a very underrated running back. He's going to have a good second year, I think. They have a pretty decent arsenal of playmakers over there in Washington. It's just a matter of can Ryan Fitzpatrick, get it done. That's kind of my biggest concern. Like, he's very streaky. I love the guy. Like, I hate that he's on Washington because I actually like Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I like watching him because the guy, leaves it all on the field. He goes balls to the wall every single game. So it's super entertaining to watch him. But I could see Washington trading up for a quarterback or waiting for somebody maybe to come to them, maybe like Mac Jones. We'll see. But, TJ, you're mentioning they're playing a risky game, waiting too long to fly in Golladay. I think, tomorrow is okay. They'll bring him in. They'll do the physical. They'll see what happens. And that's kind of like the first and foremost thing. Like, make sure he's healthy. Make sure there's no lingering things that are going to interfere with his production if they sign him to a multi-year deal. That's kind of my biggest concern with him, making sure that he's good to go. And the Earl mentioning the man himself.
Well, let me mention what TJ just said. Are the Giants playing a risky game, waiting too long to fly in Golladay? I don't think so at all, because the report is that he's waiting to meet with us. He's not accepting offers because he wants to play for the Giants. He wants to meet with us. So that should give you peace of mind and say that the Giants aren't playing a risky game. It's Golladay who's almost playing a risky game because one of these teams that offered him something could take that offer away, and then he doesn't have that team to choose as an option anymore because he was waiting to see what the Giants wanted to do. So him who's playing the risky game, we are just sitting back waiting. He seems to be more interested than we are in us than we are in him, which I think is interesting, which is definitely a good thing for the Giants. They actually, for once, have some leverage in one of these negotiation situations, so that's pretty cool. But, yeah, I don't think we're playing a risky game. I think, if anything, Golladay is. And, yes, seen a couple of you say it now, Aleem McNeil, that was the Earl 14, and, of course, you now, Mark, as well, you're pinned here. Aleem McNeil is a stud. I've been on him for a while. I got him on the podcast. We interviewed him. He was a great person. Really happy to speak with him. Yeah, if the Giants, the Giants lost Dalvin Tomlinson, so I really, really hope and I pray, and I would love to see Aleem McNeil play for the Giants. He could be a potentially phenomenal second or third round pick. I don't know what his true draft board is. He's been flying up the draft boards, but he is an interior defender. So sometimes those guys fall down the board every now and then, and they just don't get drafted high because of the positional value. But I do think there's a really good chance that the Giants can secure Aleem McNeil in the second or third round, and I think it would be a home run selection. He would instantly replace what's his name, Dalvin Tomlinson, and do a phenomenal job, and it would actually provide more as a pass rusher than Dalvin did.
Yeah, no. Aleem McNeil is legit. He's being slept on. The guy's climbing the draft board. I've seen him go as high as the second round now, and Anthony spotted him months ago when he was like a fifth, sixth, like mid-round projection nobody was talking about. I've seen him go as high as 48 with Dallas. This guy is going to be good. Like, he is smart. You watched the interview we just conducted with him. He's super intelligent. He's a really humble, down-to-earth guy. He's motivated. He's self-motivated. And the guy can play multiple positions. He's exactly what the Giants are looking for in terms of maneuvering players around that defensive front. We saw Leonard Williams shift from 3 tech to 0 tech to 5 tech. He did it all, and so did Dexter Lawrence. Aleem McNeil can do the same. He can play 0 tech. He can play 3 tech. The guy exposes A gaps like phenomenally. And he's really, really good at pulling off some good rush moves. He's very, very good in the run. He's a player the Giants would absolutely love to have if he was there. But again, this is going to be tough because the Giants have an opportunity now, if they do sign Kenny Golladay, to go out and get a player of that really helps them now, but is also the best player available. Like, if it is a wide receiver, if it's Jalen Waddle, it's insanely beneficial to your offense. If it's Slater, you're insanely benefiting your right tackle position. If it's Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, you have your CB2 locked up on a rookie deal. Or if it's Micah Parsons, you have an elite linebacker. They're saying that four quarterbacks could go in the first 7 picks. That is super beneficial for the Giants because that means
Actually,
Devonta
they're not
Smith,
saying that could happen. Adam Schefter is almost
they're saying
guaranteeing that it will happen. So that's pretty
Trey
crazy.
Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Trevor Lawrence. 4 quarterbacks in the first 7 picks, which means, you have Kyle
One
Pitts.
thing that means for the Giants is there's definitely going to be one of those offensive playmakers, or one of those top 4 offensive playmakers is without a doubt going to be on the board for them, which is very interesting, which could maybe incentivize the Giants not to go with Kenny Golladay. But at the same time, you guys know my stance on that. Go Kenny Golladay and then double dip at the position if you have to. But yeah, the Giants are going to be in really good position with the 11th overall pick because of how rich this quarterback class is. And that's really exciting. And it could also give the Giants potentially, if one of those quarterbacks doesn't go in those top 7 picks like Schefter is guaranteeing, then potentially if one of them starts slipping down the board, falls to 11, Giants could potentially get a king's ransom by trading down at 11, which is another exciting scenario that you can think of. So yeah, I know a lot of Giants fans wanted us to lose more games and get a higher draft pick, but we are sitting really pretty in a very nice spot with the 11th overall pick.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think, 11 is not as high as you want, but again, I'd rather be a winning team than a losing one any day of the week. And, I really do think that this really opens up the door for them to do a lot of different things. Someone just said, Spencer, I say we trade up and get Mac Jones. Please, Lord, do not do that. He will fall right into your laps if you wanted to do that. He's not going to go in the top 11 picks, I don't think.
I think he has a chance of going in the top 10.
You do. So that'd be 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. That would be absurd.
I think it's very unlikely, but I do think it's possible that he ends up going in the top 10. One of the other guys just, drops or something. I don't know. I think there's definitely a chance that Mac Jones goes in the top 10, though, just because of the same reasons that Daniel Jones went in the top 10. He just fits the mold perfectly. He's like that very large, big body, not necessarily athletic, just a very good quarterback, pure quarterback, which is kind of what Daniel Jones was. And a lot of the times these teams fall in love with that. They're like, oh, big guy, very smart. Mac Jones could potentially go higher than most people think because of that. I'm not saying he will, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did go in the top 10. Plus, he's very accurate. He's a pretty good quarterback. I do think that Mac Jones, has a pretty solid chance of succeeding in the NFL. I think a lot of people want to write him off just because he's from Alabama, and Alabama quarterbacks haven't really succeeded before. And even Tua just looked Tua actually looked really good in his rookie year. It's just there was other rookie quarterbacks that played so much better. So, like Justin Herbert, so he got overshadowed. But Tua was very good as a rookie, and he showed a lot that he can build on in the future. So I think, the whole Alabama quarterbacks never succeed thing, it's kind of just, scout the player, don't scout the helmet. That's how I see it. So, and I think a lot of these teams are going to scout the player, and they're going to ignore the fact that he went to Alabama, and they're going to say, well, we have a top 10 grade on him, and we could use a quarterback. So I think there's definitely a chance he can go in the top 15 for sure.
Yeah, you're spot on it. And if he does, I see the Patriots as an actually good landing spot for Mac Jones. I mean, he has the same body frame, the same body type, just looks super unathletic like Tom Brady. But he's very accurate. And if you ask Jalen Waddle, if you ask Devonta Smith, if you ask any of these Alabama guys, they're on the record saying they enjoyed playing with Mac Jones more than Tua Tagovailoa. Like, that is what they said. And I think he's a guy that can come in, he'll learn a system. He's very, he motivates his teammates. He's an accurate passer. I think you sign him or you draft him if you're the Patriots, which actually puts us in a really good spot because you might be able to trade back. I mean, please, Dave Gettleman, pick up the phone this time. This is the perfect draft. If you're ever going to trade back, this is a very good draft to do it because you can go back to 15 where the Patriots are right now, probably get their 2nd round pick, and you get Rashad Bateman or whoever, if it maybe Micah Parsons or somebody falls to you that you really like, but let's just say it's Rashad Bateman, who I think has wide receiver 1 potentially even better than Devonta Smith. We've done the film review. He looks phenomenal. The guy he's tall. He's 6'2", one of the most smooth route runners in this draft. He can play on the outside. He can play in the slot. He's flashy. He makes big time catches. You can rely on him. He has very good hands. I like him a lot. If you trade back, you can get him, and you get another 2nd round pick. So you're talking Wyatt Davis, plug that right guard spot, and you can get a pass rusher like Joseph Asai, maybe even Jason Owe is there. And Jason Owe just ran a ridiculous 40-yard dash. Don't put too much stock in that, but the guy was flying. We're talking about a freak athlete that you take a shot on because of that athleticism. They're projecting him as a potential 10+ sack guy at the NFL level. That might be your pass rusher. If you could walk away with Rashad Bateman, Wyatt Davis, and Jason Owe in the first 2 rounds, and you have Kenny Golladay and Saquon and Shep and all these guys, I mean, that would be a home run offseason. I don't know. I don't know how you don't look at the Giants and say this is a team that just turned it around in one offseason, if not potentially in a spot to make a playoff push. Not play a push, but I'll say make the playoffs.
Yeah, I want to respond to Michael Krupski's comment. How do you feel about Rondale Moore and Rashad Bateman? Rashad Bateman is he's my number 3 receiver in this class. I have Waddle, Chase, then him. I love him. I like him a lot more than I like Devontae Smith. I think Rashad Bateman is instantly going to be a solid starting receiver for a team, and I think he is a true number 1 wide receiver and would be a top receiver in a different draft class, given that he was either at an SEC school or given that, there wasn't so much SEC talent loaded at the top, right? So I think Rashad Bateman's incredible. Rondale Moore, I want to mention him because I think he's a very interesting player to discuss right now for the Giants, because if he's on the board in round 2 and the Giants go, let's say, offensive line in round 1, Rondale Moore is on the board in round 2. Now, that's a player that could be really intriguing for us, because when I watch Rondale Moore, he reminds me a lot of Curtis Samuel, and the Giants didn't sign Curtis Samuel, but they definitely would probably like to have a player like Curtis Samuel combined with Kenny Golladay. That would basically be like getting Kenny Golladay and Curtis Samuel in the same offseason somehow. So I think that's a really interesting possibility that you could think of for the Giants in round 2. That's if Rondale Moore makes it to round 2. Now, a lot of people have him going towards the back end of the first round. Some people have him going pretty early in the first round too. But I do think that he could fall to the second round based on injury history concerns. I think there's a lot to be concerned about there, and I'm sure some teams will probably not even have him on their board because of it. But Rondale Moore, interesting player. Rashad Bateman, I'm in love with him. If either one of those players ended up with the Giants, I'd be pretty happy about it.
Yeah, Rondale Moore is a like a big play waiting to happen. The problem is the guy's played 7 games in 2 years. I'm not totally sold on Rondale Moore by any means. But, we'll see. The Giants, if they go wide receiver in the first round, there's no way they're going wide receiver in the second round. Of course, if you haven't seen yet, Kyle Van Noy just re-signed with the Patriots. Really interesting deal there. So that's another pass rusher off the market. Again, the Giants just got Ifeadi Odenigbo, but he's a defensive end interior guy. I think we'll be able to, rotate in and help the Giants in that way. But I wouldn't rule them out of the outside linebacker market just yet. There is still Jadeveon Clowney. Forget about him. I don't want to talk about him right now. I know everyone's going to freak out. But Jordan Jenkins, man, keep your eye on Jordan Jenkins. That's a guy that I think the Giants would actually target. He'd be super cheap, maybe a 1-year, $1.5 million deal, really, really affordable. And then you're done after Kenny Golladay. Get that pass rusher to compete, get Kenny Golladay, maybe a CB2 instead of Jordan Jenkins. There's a lot to look at right now, guys. I mean, if you had one opportunity right now, let's say the Giants are on the clock right now at 11, they have Kenny Golladay, and everybody on the board except for the quarterbacks is available, except for Jamar Chase and the quarterbacks. We'll leave Jamar Chase out of this. Who are you going with at 11? Let's say Jamar Chase is off the board and all the quarterbacks are gone. Who are you going with right now at 11 to make this team even better?
Is Jalen Waddle on the board?
Jalen Waddle's on the board.
You know what?
Even
Let
if
me
you have Kenny
really
Golladay.
give you a good answer here. Let me go look at the draft board, because I have my own draft board that I've made for the Giants in a scenario just like that. So I'm going to go over to the draft network and take a look at that, and I'm going to give you a really good answer and run through all of the prospects. Because in this scenario, this is a really interesting scenario because it hasn't come true yet, but it seems like there's a really good chance that the Giants actually do end up with Kenny Golladay. So I think that's very interesting to think of. What if they do end up with him? What do you do at 11, right? So, okay, you're saying all the quarterbacks and Jamar Chase. That's it?
They're gone.
So, okay. So my number one option is then Penei Sewell. If he's not on the board, it goes down to Jalen Waddle. If he's not on the board, I'm going Kyle Pitts. If he's not on the board, with Kenny Golladay, this is going to change my big board just a little bit. Exactly. Those 3, Penei Sewell, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, I'm taking no matter what. So that's that. But I'm not taking Devontae Smith in that scenario. I will take Micah Parsons, Caleb Farley over him, and I will probably take Patrick Surtain as well.
You take Caleb Farley over Parsons?
No, I said I would take over Devontae Smith, as I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I have Micah Parsons, then Caleb Farley. That's how I have that. And then, of course, if Slater's on the board, I'm definitely taking him over Devontae Smith as well. The only playmakers that I'm going with in that scenario are Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, and if Jamar Chase were there, but you said that he's not. So I'm not going Devontae Smith at that point, and I'd probably only consider Rashad Bateman in a trade down. And same thing with Devontae Smith, even though I don't think he makes it that far. But yeah, Micah Parsons, Caleb Farley, those are the defensive guys I'd be targeting right there. Sounds like in this scenario, one of them would be on the board. But then, a couple other guys. I'm not a huge Kwity Paye fan. I know he's very athletic, not really my type. Jalen Phillips, if the medicals come back clean, yeah, I'm taking him there for sure. I would really like Jalen Phillips. He's a pure pass rusher. That's when I was saying earlier, if you're going to go with a guy on the edge, if you want to really fix the Giants' pass rushing problems, you've got to make a move at edge rusher. That would be a move. That would be a bold move since he has that, he mulled retirement a few years ago because of so many concussions and injuries. So that's a bold move, courageous move, risky move, very high ceiling, very low floor on that move, right? With the potential of drafting Jalen Phillips. But yeah, I would definitely like him at that number 11 spot in this specific scenario that you laid out. Gregory Rousseau, I'm not crazy about.
Me neither.
JOK, linebacker out of Notre Dame, I do like, but probably be looking to trade down if I'm going to draft him. But he is a really good player. Actually, you know what? If the Giants were to go JOK at 11, I wouldn't complain. I'd be happy about it. I would be happy with it. I think that he's
I'd be fine
worthy.
With that.
Yeah, I think JOK's a really solid player. I watched Brett Coleman. He does film reviews on YouTube. If any of you watch him, I'm sure plenty of you do. I watched Brett Coleman do a film breakdown on JOK. I came away really, really, really impressed with the way that he explained everything and really showed off the versatile skill set that JOK has. And I said, wow, I would actually be very happy with JOK on the Giants. I was already a fan of his, but definitely my fandom grew stronger once I watched that Brett Coleman video. So yeah, I'd give him consideration at 11 as well. So that's basically my big board right now, kind of loose, kind of fluid, definitely fluid. It's got to make some changes, especially post free agency. It will change quite a bit depending on, whether or not we sign Kenny Golladay. So, but yeah, at this point, I'm not ruling out playmaker at 11 just because we have Kenny Golladay, though. I think I made that pretty clear in my big board. There's at least 3 guys that I would take as a playmaker. And then, yeah, there's 3 or 4 defenders that I would really fall in love with at that spot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we wrap up here, let's answer a couple last questions. Let's go to Michael Krupski. How do you feel about the John Ross signing? We talked about this a little bit before. I'll give you a little overview of what I said. He's a guy that has had the injury histories. We've done a film review of him today, and he does have some dropping problems. He was in the 9th percentile in hand size, which is very bad. He was really, really underwhelmed in terms of hand size, and that hurt his draft. It didn't hurt his draft stock at all. Actually, it just means he has not that great hands. These quarterbacks at the NFL level are throwing absolute darts, and sometimes he just can't hold on to the ball. There was a couple scenarios where his hands just were not strong enough to hold on to the ball. In addition to that, little concentration drops, not lack of focus. His route running is good, but he does stumble out of his break at times. But he has that home run ability. He can take a slant route to the house like OBJ. He can burn you on a go route. You'll see cornerbacks playing off ball pretty much 90% of the time because they are terrified of getting beat deep. So I do think, when it comes to John Ross, he's a very high upside signing, low risk, high reward. Totally love it. It's 1 year, $2.5 million, but it's a $1.8 million cap hit. Nothing crazy. I like this a lot. And let's see what else we got going here. Would I still trade for Stephon Gilmore? It depends on what they're asking for, but I doubt the Patriots, after all the moves they just made, I highly doubt they're letting Stephon Gilmore go unless, they did put a tender on J.C. Jackson. They did sign Jalen Mills. So there is a possibility that they might try to trade him, get some draft capital back, but we'll see what they do there. They may try to clear some cap space because they just signed a crap load of players.
Yeah, they signed a lot of players, and I think that, trading Gilmore would be a nice way for them to clear a little bit of cap space. They wouldn't clear a ton with it. If I remember correctly, it's like $7 million for them. So, this year that's kind of a lot, right? In the normal year, it's not that crazy, but this year that's kind of a lot to clear. So I think that, it's interesting because a lot has changed since we made that video discussing Stephon Gilmore and the potential of trading him. That would be amazing if we got him. And I agree, it could literally put us in that NFC title game, depending on what else we do on that team. But what I'll say is now we're looking at the Giants. Do we want to give up a 3rd and a 6th for Stephon Gilmore? I think that's great value for us. But is it still great value for the Patriots, who are now looking to make a serious run this year with all the money they just spent? I don't know. They look like they've just put together a really solid team that's ready to compete. Might not be in that rebuild stage like we thought that they were. We thought they were ready to rebuild, move on from these contracts. Gilmore's in the last year of his deal. Trade him before he walks away for nothing, right? Doesn't seem like that's going to be their mindset anymore. It seems like they're going to want to keep Stephon Gilmore, keep all of their stars, and add in the new players that they just signed, then go ahead and try and actually be a competitive team in 2021, which I think is really interesting. I really love all the signings they made for the most part. I'm really impressed with what New England did. But yeah, I think at this point, I don't think they're going to trade Stephon Gilmore, even though, I would love to have him on the Giants, as most of us would.
Yeah. I mean, Gilmore would be sick. Having him and James Bradbury is borderline unfair. But there's so many great options at CB2 that they can go for on the market already. They have Xavier Rhodes, AJ Bouye. He's going to miss a couple games.
Gowan.
Tay Gowan. He's a guy
in the draft.
In the draft. 6'2", really, really tall, physical guy. We interviewed him as well. He's another draft prospect at a UCF. Just a humble dude. He wants to play at a high level, and he's very motivated.
Confidence.
He does. If you talk to him.
Yeah. You should listen to us talk to him. Go on the channel, find a Tay Gowan interview. But also, in terms of corner, there's a lot of really good corners out of this year's draft class. There's a ton of really good cornerbacks. So
J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn's another one.
If I Eddie Melifonwu.
Yeah, I like Melifonwu.
Like him a lot.
I like him a lot.
A lot of Syracuse.
Him and Tay Gowan are very similar, though, to me.
They are.
I think both of those are very similar.
In the later rounds. He's a guy. Tay Gowan is he's like, I was homeless. I am going to do well. I don't have a choice. He's like, I don't have a choice but to do well at the NFL level. Like, I'm going to compete. I don't care what it is. I don't care if I have to go through the special teams. The guy's motivated, man. He's unknown because I think he opted out last year because his daughter had some health complications. But keep an eye on Tay Gowan. He's underrated. I think he's going to make a name for himself.
Yeah, and Lil Sag too. We know that Kyle Van Noy went to back to the Patriots. I think we mentioned it. I think you mentioned it just a second ago. You might not have. Maybe we didn't mention it, but I definitely read it. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. He was a guy that I don't think the Giants could have afforded anyway. I don't really think that they would have. I don't think he was a real possibility for us. It's an interesting signing for them, though, for the Patriots to see that reunion. And again, we were just talking about the Patriots just a second ago. We were talking about Stephon Gilmore, and I'm saying how much I love what they've done with their offseason. And this is another great move, in my opinion, for New England. I think this is another really good move. Really love everything that they've done this offseason. So I'm very impressed. And Kyle Van Noy, I think, is still a good player that has enough left in the tank. So I think that's interesting as well. And then so what about Sam Beal? Do you want to talk about Sam Beal real quick? But I want to mention Zachary G just said Pro Football Network per Tony Pauline. The meeting is tomorrow with Golladay for the Giants. So throw that out there. That's very exciting. Thank you for letting us know that, Zachary.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Zach. That's a big deal for us because if they let him walk out the door, we're going to have to find Dave Gettleman and teach him a lesson. I'm just kidding. I feel like he has that old man strength. He beat the crap out of all of us with one hand tied behind his back, just like crazy old man strength from Dave Gettleman. Tuto, my man from Palermo. Watch any soccer today? Who is anyone a soccer fan here? Anyone watch the Champions League today? I gotta catch up on the highlights a little bit later. Big soccer guy as well as football, obviously. But Champions League was today. Some pretty awesome games. Tuto, I know you're watching. Forza, I forget who your team is. Forza Italia. I'll just give you that. But much love to Tuto as always donating to us, making us feel proud to be Giants content creators.
Tuto, thank you so much, man. Really, really do appreciate the donation. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Thank you to everybody. And this is actually a really good way to segment into this. Just notice we cracked 5,000 subs. Thank you all so much.
That's
very
huge,
happy about that. We're really excited. It seems like it was a month ago. We were like, well, we just hit 4,000 subs. We're very excited. Seen a lot of growth this past month. We're really, really cranking out content for you guys
every
this
day,
off season, trying to give you the utmost coverage and the highest quality coverage that we can, for this off season. So thank you guys so much for the 5K subs, and we'll do something special for you soon to commemorate that. I know you guys want to see me do a couple dances on a live stream.
10K.
We'll do a charity live stream soon. Hopefully we can do that to celebrate 5K. Airborne's now made it 10K, so maybe I can push off this terrible, embarrassing dance that I got to do, another 5,000 subs. Thank you for that, Airborne. But no, for real though, we'll do some sort of commemorative live stream to celebrate the 5K subs. We'll do something fun. And again, stay tuned for more league content. Also keep an eye on this. Tay Gowan, we interviewed him from UCF. I'm only an hour away from him. He's going to be back at UCF in a month. I'm going to try and go get that one-on-one to happen. I know a lot of you guys want to see me run a route against him. I think it would be pretty funny, be pretty cool. Also get, some cool videos of him doing his workouts and stuff. A real NFL draft prospect. That would be cool. So Gonna try and set that up so you guys can make fun of me and watch me get dominated by an NFL level cornerback. But yeah, so again, thank you guys so much. Very, very happy about the 5K subs, and just stay tuned. We got so much good content on the way.
Exactly, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So really, really appreciate.
You're muted. I can't hear you.
No, I'm not. You're muted.
Whoops. Oh, still can't hear you.
Really?
Is it just me? It might just be me.
I think it's just you.
Let us know if you can hear. It's probably me.
Can you hear me?
All right, give me a second.
Look, I'm pretty sure they can hear me, but if you are listening and you can hear me, really, really much love to you guys. We appreciate all the love, and we have some really awesome interviews coming up too. Really awesome interviews. We have LPG coming on next week. We have Brandon Love coming on next week as well. And on Friday, we are finally going to get to the bottom of Sterling Shepard being an outside receiver. We have his trainer, David Robinson, coming on, who speaks to general managers directly. They come to him to ask what free agents they should pick up, what they offer. He trains with Antonio Brown. He trains with some of the best receivers in the NFL. He trained with Corey Coleman, a couple of really, really talented guys. We're going to have him on the channel and tell you directly why Sterling Shepard is a better outside receiver than he is a slot receiver. So the Giants don't need to worry if they go get Jalen Waddle, that they're going to be having too many slot guys. We're gonna get this across finally. But much love, Tim. Well, eventually we'll get to 50K hopefully, and we'll really be cranking. One day, our goal is to be in that locker room with you guys, and we're gonna bring you there with us. Our goal is to really make this interactive, have you guys giving us questions for the players, making this super interactive for you guys as the process. I think it's super important that we build this through the fans, because you guys make it all possible. So I'm really excited for the future. You guys make it all possible. And Danilo, shout out to the Brazilian over here coming in from Brazil. I don't even know what the time is down there, but guys, the last question I have for you guys, where is everybody from? Because I know we got people from Germany, we got people from Scotland, we got people from England, New York, California. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys hanging out? What time is it there? Because we have some followers that it's incredible that we have people across the world that tune into this channel and really are really here. Australia, Kyle.
Australia, that's cool.
Incredible. I want to go one day. Puerto Rico, shout out Steven, Puerto Rico, Maryland, Airborne Cheeseburger. Norway. You definitely have a Norway kind of name. That's awesome. I don't even know how I would even start to pronounce that. That's sick. Brazil. It's almost 12 there. It's freaking awesome. Boring old Jersey. Yeah, I get that. Jersey's interesting place. UK 1:50 in the morning. You're up late. Really appreciate the love. Sticking in with us. Virginia, New Jersey, heart and soul of the world. I will question that every day of the week. I was born there. I'm not proud of it. The streets, my mom almost got lost on the way home because the streets are so bad and confusing. South Texas, not being a Giants fan in Texas, that is probably true. I feel bad for that. North Jersey, pretty lit, I guess. So for the people that are from Jersey, is there such thing as a Central Jersey person? Is Central Jersey a thing? Because I've heard conflicting theories on whether Central Jersey exists. I'm proud of Jersey because of not even MetLife. MetLife's a crappy stadium too. What does Jersey have? Good pizza? Is that what they have? They have all the Italians? I don't know. Anthony, you might know this question. Rutgers?
I'm not from Jersey, bro. I'm from Long Island.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying.
I live in Florida now, but I'm from Long Island. Yeah, of course I could talk about Italian stuff. I just had Italian ice. That's what I was eating at the beginning of the live stream. Went on a nice, cute little date.
Anthony went on a date today. Please ask him how it went.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Long Island for me, but I live in Florida now. There's a lot of Giants fans in South Florida, though. You would be surprised. But I haven't lived on Long Island for a while, so I probably can't tell you much else other than the fact that I miss Ralph's Italian Ice more than anything in my life. That place is God sent. I need to go back very soon, and I am going back very soon. I'm going back in July, hopefully, Alex. I'm going to tease some more future content. Of course, we're going to meet up and make some content together in person, which is going to be awesome.
Of course.
Well, hopefully.
You got to come during the season, man. Have a bar.
Yeah, of course I will. Of course I will. But hopefully we can link up with our boy Brian, do some really, really cool in-person content with him in the summer.
That's a great comment by Anno, New York.
I see that now. It didn't show up on the YouTube, but it showed up private for us. Everybody else isn't going to see that one, but yeah, that's funny. Yeah, wow, that's really
that's
cool.
awesome. That's really cool. Long Beach Island, not Haiti, but also okay, decent, not bad, not bad. You guys have a beach. You guys have a beach. I think I've been once. Central Jersey is real.
Is anybody celebrating St. Patrick's Day today? Because as soon as we get off of this, I'm going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I didn't celebrate this year. Usually I go out and like in the city and like, it's dead here in New York City. They tried to do something, but it really just didn't go well.
Alex, what part of Florida? Let me know what part of Florida.
What do you mean?
Let me know. Alex said he's from Florida. I want to know what part. Because I'm from Florida. Well, I'm from Long Island and I'm from Florida.
If you guys watched the podcast a couple weeks ago, my cat took a massive poop right in the middle of it. Absolutely clowning. He's doing it again right now. He's going to nuke me in my office.
He's going to nuke you.
And Danny, donating $25, man. This guy, Danny over here, has no idea how much we love him, appreciate him. He is the designer for our thumbnails, designer for our backgrounds. He's the creative guy behind the scenes.
Danny's as much of a part of this and the growth that we've had as we are. He is just as important as we are. So, Danny, thank you, man. You're a huge part of the 5K subs. Thank you, bro.
If you watch this channel regularly and you see all of the creative, designs and everything that goes on behind us and the thumbnails, just go look at it. They're art. They're pieces of art. And Danny is the man behind it. It's incredibly talented. He's an absolute monster when it comes to helping us in our quest to really become unique in our ways and try and stand out from the crowd. There's a lot of people doing this now, so we got to be creative, and he is a catalyst for us. So shout out to Danny and really much love for the $25. That'll be going right back to you and then some. But Tim, Anthony, and Alex, can we meet up at a bar? Of course we can. Guys, if you're over 21 years old, we are meeting up at a bar in the city in Manhattan. We will set up something really fun. We will get it going, and we will get something in person going. I'll bring you some Fireside Giants gear and T-shirts and stuff like that. I'll get us all hooked up with good stuff. I'm excited for it. We tried to do it last year, but obviously COVID stopped us from getting anything done. But Anthony now, who is in a fraternity and drinking Busch Lights like water out here, will be able to keep up with the rest of us. So we'll see.
Yeah, we are the brothers of Sigma Nu. Yep, old Sigma Nu is about to get active tonight. Actually, they've been active since like noon, and I just haven't gone over there because I'm too scared to. So,
all right. Well, in that case, we'll wrap it up so Anthony can go get his Busch Light on. It is
totally, boys.
So everybody, get your Guinness out. Have a Guinness for the Giants, and let's have a good luck Guinness for Kenny Golladay. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yes.
For us. I think I'm gonna tweet that out right now. A good luck Guinness for Kenny Golladay for tomorrow. That's
good. You should.
I will do that right now. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into Fireside Giants and this live stream. Really, really, really appreciate all the love that you guys have offered us. And tuning in. We had over 250 people in here at one point. That's the most we've ever had in a live stream before, and we hope to make that a regular occurrence. And do some really fun things with you guys. If you guys have any feedback or suggestions for us, what kind of content you guys want to make us, we are here to do stuff for you. We are here to make content for you. That is our goal. That is our job. So, really, really appreciate all of the support. And I'm excited to catch you guys on the next video and really hope to engage with you more in the near future.
Yes, thank you all so much. And we're going to do live streams more and more often. If Kenny Golladay signs tomorrow, maybe we'll do another stream, emergency live stream to talk about that and react. It'll be a lot of fun. And thank you, Jack. I will enjoy for sure. It's going to be a fun night, hopefully. We'll see. Got a test to take in the morning, though, so got to relax a little bit. Apparently, Jordan Rannon just said something. Let's check that out before we end this, because maybe it's important. Might have something to do with Kenny Golladay. We can end this on a high note, maybe. Let's see. Michael, can you link us to that? Jordan Rannon said on live stream that if Kenny Golladay works out the Giants, he would expect the contract to come in lower than $15 million a year. Shout out Chris Rice, ESM worker or employee, for getting that part of the roster. That's dope. That's really, really good news. Huge. And that's really exciting. That makes the whole thing even more exciting as a Giants fan. So, yeah, man, that's going to be really, really big for us. Hopefully we can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive. Under 15 mil, that's crazy. So if we get him at that price for a couple years, say less, sign the man up, get it done. I'm excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy day. We'll be keeping you guys up to date with everything. I'll have a video out pretty much instantly on YouTube, getting hyped with you guys as always. But of course, much love to everybody. I really appreciate the support and really spending some time. Next stream, we'll get you guys on here with us, talk some Giants, get some people involved. Just no profanities, please. I really don't want to deal with that. I really don't want to deal with that. No, I know Chris Entertainer had a little surprise for him a couple weeks back, so I'd rather stay off the surprises, my friends. But we'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope you have an awesome night and the rest of this St. Patrick's Day.